Here's Brody Brazil.
I am definitely not in the sports wagering business, and I would never try and play myself off as a sports prediction expert. That's just not me. But in terms of a sports projection, right? Like just looking at trends and the way things are going and adding in a little bit of gut instinct, I think it's a pretty fair thing to say that Alexander Ovechkin is going to get to 895 goals at some point during 2025. Now, I'm talking about the calendar year here, so this could happen by the end of the current NHL regular season or maybe after the start of next NHL regular season in October. But at some point before 2026, Ovi's going to get to 895, and that's going to put him atop a very special list, the most goals all time scored in the National Hockey League. He will pass Wayne Gretzky if he gets to 895. He's already surpassed Gordie Howe and Jaromir Jagr. Alexander Ovechkin has the chance to write some pretty incredible history in the coming months, and he's been on such an incredible pace as of late. This has been an interesting season. More on that in just a second. This is his 39-year-old season. It's also his 20th NHL season. Drafted first overall by the Washington Capitals in 2004, he's been a part of that team and a longtime captain ever since. More than a point per game player throughout his entire career, a 13-time NHL All-Star, Stanley Cup champion in 2018. I think the way he celebrated winning the Cup was even more impressive than his contributions during those Stanley Cup playoffs of 2018. Check the footage on that one. He's won a Hart, he's won an Art Ross, he's won a Rocket Richard, he's won a lot of individual accolades and recognitions. There's no doubt about that. But what's happening right now is equally special for Alexander Ovechkin because this is a look at his career. Very decorated, very accomplished. We know that. But coming into this season, there was a lot of question whether he would ever even be on pace to surpass Wayne Gretzky on the NHL's all-time goals leader list. And all he did this year, coming out of the gate, first 18 games, he scored 15 goals. The Caps got off to a 13-4-1 start, but then in Game 18, a game where he had already scored a goal, he fractures his fibula. Now that's a huge setback, and that was an unfortunate story. And it doesn't matter if you love the Caps, if you hate the Caps, if they're your main rival, or you're the biggest fan of Alexander Ovechkin. Like, anybody that cares about hockey should think that was a very unfortunate thing to happen. And an injury like that could have a player out for multiple months. Who knows if they ever come back in the right way or form. Alexander Ovechkin, by the way, breaking the fibula. I just have to remind folks where that is. I'm not trying to play doctor here on a YouTube channel, but like that is a pretty imperative part of your body for somebody who's a hockey player and a skater and needs to be agile and puts a lot of weight on their lower body and on their skates. It's pretty incredible to come back from that injury, I kid you not, in 40 days. Alexander Ovechkin, he came back this past weekend after the mid-November injury. He missed only 40 days with a fractured fibula. He returns on the 28th of December. He gets an empty netter goal in that game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we'll give him that one. Like, you kind of deserve any type of goal. We'll take the empty netter. You've had a lot more that you've earned in your career. But here's one of the craziest parts. I mean, usually a veteran player coming back from injury, you might play one game, but if there's a back-to-back sequence on the schedule, you might want to sit out the next game. Oh no. Alexander Ovechkin, he plays on the 28th. He then comes back and plays on a Sunday. So a Saturday-Sunday split. He plays again on December 29th and gets an even-strength goal against the Red Wings in Detroit. 2 goals in his first 2 games back after missing 40 days with a fractured fibula. That is amazing. That now puts him at 870 goals. He picked up right where he left off. He's got 46 games left to play in this regular season. I should say the Caps do. He could play a potential of 46 games left in this season, and he needs 25 goals to surpass Wayne Gretzky for this all-time record. So is it possible even this year? Absolutely. He'd have to continue on a certain tear, but at this point, the way he's going, the way the Caps are going, could anybody tell me it's impossible? I think it's equally possible as it is very difficult to try and pull off. Let me just say it like this. When this happens, whether it's at the end of this year or the start of next year or halfway through next season before 2026 kicks off, all of this, like a record like this being broken, is bigger than hockey. This is a universal sports record. This is like an amount of points for a basketball player or an amount of home runs for a baseball player or an amount of touchdowns for a football quarterback. Goals for a hockey player. Like, there are a bunch of other stats, and Patrick Marleau breaking Gordie Howe's all-time games played record. That was impressive in a different way, but goals hits different, right? If that makes sense. Like, this is an easy one for a non-hockey fan to understand. Like, goals scored, the amount of goals scored. Nobody has scored more goals right now in regular season games than Wayne Gretzky, and it could be soon Alexander Ovechkin right in front of our very eyes. So this is something that transcends just hockey. This is a universal sports record that I think a lot of people are going to start paying attention to. The countdown, the anticipation for this. I mean, if you're already invested in hockey, none of this is news to you. But my point is, even non-hockey fans are going to start being aware and cognizant of a record like this that could be falling. The Washington Capitals being good this season, I mean, that definitely helps if Ovi were on a struggling team. And it's kind of what Sidney Crosby is going through right now with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Would you want to see him go somewhere else to chase his goals, his ideals of winning another Stanley Cup, or if he had a record to break that was big right around the corner? So it helps that the Caps are good. Ovi gets to stay with the Caps. This will obviously influence his chances of getting this all-time record. I do want to point this out. It's not something I'm going to discuss or really go deep into here, but I do understand that politics are bound to present themselves here with somebody like Alexander Ovechkin, who's from Russia, all of the world conflicts going on right now, him playing here in the United States and Canada. I'll leave it at that. I'm just saying, expect that to also be part of some part of this, some conversation, somebody's narrative. Like, it will be out there, warranted or not. I'm not here to say that it is or it isn't. I'm just pointing this out, that I guarantee this will be part of the overall attention. But past that, for the sport of hockey, for the National Hockey League, I mean, I hope that they get to capitalize, get it? Capitalize? Capitalize on this attention. Capitalize on somebody right now writing history in front of our eyes, and doing so through adversity, doing so at the probably very end of his career at 39 or maybe 40 years old if it's the start of next season. This is amazing. This is something that should be followed. Once he's sitting at a goal away or 2 goals away, I certainly hope that the entire nation stops to watch every shift he's out there for the Caps, and just to see when it happens, how it happens. If I had my guess, it's probably on a Caps power play. He's probably on that left dot, cocked and ready to go for a one-timer. That's just my prediction. That's his office, but it'll be interesting to see how it happens, because I'm of the opinion that this will happen. 895 at some point in 2025. There was a lot of question over the last couple of years. Would he even put himself in position to have a chance for this? And just the way the start of this year has gone, him coming back, how that's already gone. Look, he might go through a bit of a rut, not score a goal for 6 or 7 games. That's also possible, but I'm just saying he has positioned himself so well. He's a veteran. He's aware of this. He's hungry for this. He knows how to get to this. He's got teammates and a team that's going to help him get to this. It's not going to be easy, but it's also not something that's impossible. And so that's why I think this is going to happen. That's the end of this video. Thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate that, since you made it here to the end. Helps me and this video and this channel. And also take one more quick second. Go down there and make sure that you are already subscribed to my channel. That way I can definitely see you back here next time.